going to recap the system, the framework that we as agents have to have as a baseline for success in this business. Okay, so here we go. This is the framework that we are all working through as entrepreneurs. I'm checking my clock. Basically, you go from E to S, B to I. E is an employee. You trade time for money. All right, you work for someone else. That someone else determines your worth. S, that's where all of us start in real estate. That is self-employed. I want you to see the similarities between E and S. Critical. Time for money trading, time for money trading. Are you tracking with me? Okay. A business owner is when your income starts to not depend on you actively working the business. So employees, tech, whatever that is, you have leverage that makes you money, that you're not having to trade time for money anymore. And then we have the investor, which we all should become because we're in real estate, and we should all buy real estate and be a product of the product and make our money work for us. What does this mean? If you're like, boom, I just had an aha moment that I'm not a business owner yet, don't panic. There is a specific set of skills that you need to master as a self-employed person in order to become a business owner, or really to skip the business owner phase, or just tap into it. You don't have to build some huge organization. You just have to make enough money to become an investor. So don't panic, all right? What I want to go over today is the framework for the self-employed, which is vast majority of people in real estate when they first start. Are we getting this framework? This is the entrepreneur framework. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. This is not just real estate. Okay. This is the framework that you need to work off of as a self-employed real estate agent. All right. This is it. We need leads as real estate agents. You can't convert anyone if you don't have leads. You need systems. You need value add. And the linchpin to hold all those things together is conversion. You can have all the leads, all the systems, and all the value add. And if you cannot convert someone to become your client, none of it matters at all. And guess what? Consistency is what makes the wheel move forward. And guess what that takes? It takes you showing up. It takes you having the mindset of a winner. That's why this is Wednesdays with Jenna, okay, where we are going to learn how to win together. All right. And I love it too, because y'all hold me accountable, make me show up. And I'm like, it pumps me up too. So I'm super happy to be here. So today we're going to talk about systems, because without framework, we do not have focus. And I have seen this be a huge issue in the real estate industry. And look, y'all, I'm calling myself to the carpet. When I say real estate industry, I'm not saying you. I am one of you. I am still producing. I still have a team. I am one of you. And I am still working this system. And yes, I do own a business now, and I have invested in real estate as well. But I still work this system, and this system works for me, and it works for everybody. And here's how I know. I've coached hundreds of agents now. I've had hundreds of coachings, and 97% of the time, one of them came to me about something that is in this wheel. So today we're going to talk about systems and why they matter. And if you're like, if you're a sanguine, do you know what sanguine is? That person, you love color and life and fun. This is the not fun part of business. But let me tell you something. If you want to eventually become free of the weight of your business and have time back and sanity, then systems need to become fun for you, because that's what systems give you. They give you leverage, okay? So that's our framework that we're working off of. We've already talked about leads. Why do you think systems matter? It makes your product and service consistent. Systems bring consistency to what you deliver to the public. How would you feel if you went to Whataburger? Texans love Whataburger. Okay, maybe you guys are like on the West Coast, In-N-Out, McDonald's, although I don't know. I like have this weird thing with McDonald's. So maybe you love McDonald's. Okay, what if you showed up and were promised something, but that product was inconsistent? You would be disgruntled and feel cheated, right? And dissatisfied. Systems provide consistency. And that is critical for the happiness of not only ourselves, but also our clients. They deserve consistency. They provide efficiency, which is also critical. If we are not efficient in what we do, we lose energy, we lose time, all right? And we lose the ability to grow at a higher rate. I love that. So this kind of piggybacks off of it, but also systems allow you to create steps and processes for each and everything, whether it's a listing has a process and a system, a buyer has a process and a system that you take them through each time. And for those of you, again, who are not systems people, this is difficult. Sometimes guys, get into your JPAR resources, whether you're a franchise or the Texas brokerage, there's a ton of them. There are systems in there. You can steal from someone else, not steal, it's borrow. Like it's there for you to use, right? And there's systems for everything so that you don't have to create everything, right? Piggyback off of that, or you can add, take away, whatever. But it allows you also, when you grow, to teach someone else how to do your listing marketing for you, to teach someone else how to do the buyer's presentation for you when you hire a buyer's agent, whatever it is, to teach your admin how to put in listings for you in the MLS. It really, really gives you freedom. Systems give you freedom. And I love that. It gets me so excited. You do not have to recreate the wheel. You do not have to do that. You don't have to. I think as entrepreneurs, we feel this pressure to like prove to ourselves that we can do everything. And really, we just overwhelm ourselves and we get burnt out. And we don't need to do that. Like there are things that work and free information out there that we can borrow from someone else, and we should just do that and implement. Okay, so also it allows you to monitor things. This is a big one. This was probably the thing that took me the longest to do because every single tool that I did have didn't do it really well, but monitoring things. And by monitoring, measuring, closing ratios, where are your leads coming from? What's the return on investment, KPIs, things like that, all this stuff. And KPIs are basically just a measuring tool that allows you to know, how certain things are flowing through the systems, right? And how they're working for your business. And I don't want to do too much into the weeds, but that's what it allows you to do, to improve systems and to measure what is and is not working. So piggybacking off of that, if you're taking notes, it also allows you to pivot and change more easily. So you can be like, this listing marketing piece is not working, or it's just flat. Like I don't actually see how it's making me money to do X, Y, and Z, or making my clients happier or getting me business. So we're going to X-nay that and either just X-nay it and put more marketing dollars and more energy and more focus on something else. See how these systems really ultimately allow freedom. They really do. It's so foundational. So also it allows your staff to operate in their strengths. And this is as you get down the road, right? And you have people that come in that are working in your organization. So I'm going to talk about the Sears Group because they're awesome. And Chris Sears is now the president of JPAR, and they have done this really well. There's an agent that I've worked some co-listings with, Sean, down there in Houston, and he is their event coordinator. And he rocks events. That's because they've systematized things, right? Where they can put people when they're operating in their strengths. And that's a beautiful thing. And that is what we can all eventually accomplish in our organizations. Okay. If you decide to build a larger organization. And you better believe they didn't start with an event coordinator, right? That's like down the road. But we can get there, and it starts with basic systems and processes. Moving on. So also systems create value. How do they create value? Let's say that 20 years from now, you want to sell your business and you've made a ton of money, and people are like, well, let me look at your business, and you have no systems in place by which they can come in and take over that business and like pay you money for it. Do you think that your business will be valued at the same amount that it would have if you had an exact procedure and were able to measure how that would make them more money? Like, heck no. You're going to make so much less money. And it's not even that. It also creates value for you and your team members and people to work with you and for you, and it creates value for your clients to have systems, right? When I go to a listing presentation, my clients know exactly what they're getting from me every single time, and I can show them the results from the ads that we run with thousands of views. Do you have this kind of systems in your business? But systems provide value. Okay, systems also ultimately, let's put it into like 2 or 3 things that ultimately they provide. Leverage. They provide you leverage. I don't want to work this business forever. I don't want to work any business forever. I don't want to work forever. Like, I got into real estate to eventually learn how to become an investor in real estate. That was my goal. And some people love the showing of the houses and the different things, right? I love time freedom. And that's a long story why that I won't go into today. But I understand that my time on this earth is limited, and I value my time above everything else. And that this business could eventually give me time freedom. Okay. And so leverage is key if you want to work yourself out of the business, or just work yourself into a place in the business that you are living out your calling. Like, I love this. You guys have no idea how much I look forward to spending time with you once a week. This is where I find the greatest amount of joy and fulfillment, is teaching you guys how to win, right? In this game of real estate, right? This is fulfilling to me. It also provides growth. So systems provide leverage, they provide growth, and they provide more money with less effort and more of being able to enjoy life, because it's going to give you a lot of your time back. That is why systems are so critical. I feel like there's a saying, what's the saying? You do not rise to the level of your ambition, you fall to the level of your systems. And it's been said a lot of different ways, right? But it's so true. You do not rise to the level of your ambition, you will fall to the level of your systems. And that is why this is so critical. So I encourage you to take a deep dive into your business and say, what can I outsource or make duplicatable? What can I make a step-by-step process? And for those of you who may not have that strength, go into the JPAR hubs, go to your franchisee and say, help me. Like, be someone who is willing to say, I need help, and give me your step-by-step thing for how you work with a buyer, or marketing listings, or your step-by-step process for getting listings in the MLS, whatever it is, right? Systems. Have it on paper or a checklist so that it is the same every time. Also, let me just say this. I mean, when you lay your head down at night on the pillow, to not have to guess at what you're doing tomorrow, oh my gosh, it is a relief. And that's what we need more of in this business. We need more systems. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, girl, you boring today. You're preaching on something I don't want to hear, but it is true. It will give you peace in your life to have systems, okay? And in your mind. I promise you this. So here is what I'd like to kind of summarize with today. If you are just starting, the very, 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 very first thing that you need to do is to systematize yourself. You need a calendar. Y'all, I am not an organized person, okay? I grew up in a really loving household, but in a household where I had no calendar and no schedule ever. Okay. And when I became a business owner, this was so hard for me. My life had basically kind of led me along. And I was like, I have to take control of my life and my calendar and my schedule, especially after I became a mom, and needed to also input time into relationships with people that I love, and also run a top 1% business like I do. So you have got to systematize yourself first. Do not fight it. You are not the exception. I'm not the exception. You're not the exception. You have got to systematize yourself. You've got to time block. Okay. You've got to do the work. You've got to have a calendar. All right. Okay. So there's that. Systematize yourself first. That's lead gen. That's, meal prep. That's laying out your clothes. That's making sure that you're doing the basics in your life and your business to keep things running. Okay. So calendar first. Second, CRM. And you hear this preached from the rooftops. Look, I don't care what CRM that you use. An Excel spreadsheet is not a CRM, y'all. I love you. And look, that's a lot easier until you have about 300 contacts, 200 or 300 contacts. And all of a sudden you can't keep up with anyone anymore. And there's sticky notes everywhere and it's total chaos. You're like, no, I put the most updated notes in the little section in the Excel. No, that Excel spreadsheet, you're working inside of it, but it is not working while you sleep like a CRM will. The CRM is your first hire. It's your first personal assistant. It's your first little delicious taste of business ownership because it's leverage. And I know that it's not fun to set it up. Okay. When I switched from my previous brokerage over to JPAR, I wanted to rip my hair at having to change it, my CRM, but it was so worth it because I got it all set up, rock and rolled. And literally I can log in every single day and it practically makes a schedule calls for me and text messages and shows me who's active in my database and tells me who I need to call that's a hot prospect. Instead of making 30 or 40,000 phone calls, which is the size of my database, I know I just need to make this 50 because they're the people looking at their searches and engaging with my content. So do yourself a favor and get the CRM rocking and rolling. So calendar, CRM, and then eventually I would say the very next step for somebody is a transaction coordinator. And then if you're next leveling it and doing at least 3 transactions a month to 5 transactions a month, a buyer's agent is a really great investment, or just somebody who can come alongside of you and co-produce with you. Okay. So that is a great place to start. If you have any questions, I can be found at Jenna Harris at jpar.com. Okay. So Jenna Harris, JennaHarris. All right. At jpar.com. So I'm so appreciative of you guys. You're awesome. Keep your head up. 2023 is not an easy year to be in real estate, but I'm going to tell you what, if you make it through this year, all right, and you put your head down and you do what matters, you will win and you will thrive. So let's do this together. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you next week at noon on Wednesdays with Jenna. Bye.